Shalom and good evening. This is TV7 Israel News, broadcasting to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, Political Chief of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, Brigadier General Yadollah Javani, vowed to destroy two of Israel's main cities, Haifa and Tel Aviv, if the United States were to attack the Islamic Republic of Iran. To which Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu responded with a threat of his own. Any Iranian attack would bring the downfall of the Ayatollah regime in Tehran. Iranian President Hassan Rouhani declared the Islamic Republic's resolve to continue its ballistic missile program and policy of its military expansion across the region, regardless of international opposition. Damascus has accused Israel of launching an attack against its territory last night, causing significant damage in the town of Quneitra, which is located near the Israeli-Syrian border, where Iranian-backed forces are reportedly active. The political head of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, Brigadier General Yadollah Javani, vowed to destroy two of Israel's main cities, Haifa and Tel Aviv, if the United States were to attack the Islamic Republic of Iran. In a statement that was quoted by Iran's state news agency, IRNA, General Javani claimed that the United States does not have the courage to shoot a single bullet at Iran, despite all its defensive and military assets. He warned, however, that if America would attack the Islamic Republic, the Revolutionary Guards will raze Tel Aviv and Haifa to the ground. While the United States did not immediately respond to TV7's request for comment, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu published an immediate televised response from Jerusalem in which he warned the Ayatollah regime in Tehran that if it would make the mistake of trying to destroy Tel Aviv and Haifa, this year's celebration of the Islamic Revolution would be the last.
אני לא מתעלם מהאיומים של המשטר האיראני, אבל אני גם לא מתרשם מהם. אם המשטר הזה יעשה את הטעות האיומה וינסה להחריב את תל אביב וחיפה, זה לא יצליח להם. אבל זה יהיה יום המהפכה האחרון שהם יחגגו. כדאי שהם יקחו את זה בחשבון.
The Israeli leader was referring to the transpiring mega celebrations across Iran, in which hundreds of thousands of people marched to mark the Islamic Revolution's 40th anniversary, during which General Javani voiced his threats. Meanwhile, Iranian President Hassan Rouhani declared the Islamic Republic's resolve to continue its ballistic missiles program as well as its policy of military expansion across the region, regardless of international opposition. In a public address to hundreds of thousands of Iranians marching downtown Tehran, President Rouhani claimed that the power of the Islamic Republic has become a wonder to behold among the international community.
ما برای ساختن انواع موشک‌های ضد زره، انواع موشک‌های پدافند هوایی، انواع موشک‌های زمین به دریا و دریا به دریا، انواع موشک‌های هوا به هوا و انواع موشک‌های زمین به زمین از کسی اجازه نگرفته ایم و نخواهیم گرفت. راهمان را، قدرت نظامیمان را ادامه می‌دهیم و در نزد ملت ایران به صراحت می‌گویم قدرت نظامی ایران در طول این 40 سال و به ویژه در 5 سال اخیر برای همه جهانیان شگفت‌آور است.
The Iranian leader also underscored in his address that the Islamic nature of the Iranian Revolution has provided the necessary guarantees for the Islamic Republic's success.
اگر انقلاب ما انقلاب اسلامی نبود، انقلاب ایرانی بود. اگر انقلاب ما انقلاب اسلامی نبود، انقلاب ملی بود، حتما این انقلاب در برابر انواع توطئه ها نمیتوانست مقاومت کند. اسلامیت این نظام است که تأیید این نظام است. مشکلاتی مردم ما خواهند داشت، مشکلاتی دارند همین الان در زندگی روزمره، اما با کمک هم ما این مشکلات را پشت سر خواهیم گذاشت.
While the Islamic Republic has begun celebrating the 40th anniversary of its revolution this week, Tehran's foreign minister held an official visit to Israel's northern neighbor Lebanon, where he met with Iranian-backed groups and Beirut's leadership. Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif held his first meetings with the Secretary General of Tehran's Lebanese proxy Hezbollah, Hassan Nasrallah, and with the Secretary General of the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, which operates alongside the Islamist Hamas organization in the Gaza Strip and openly aspires to bring about the annihilation of the Jewish state. It is important to note that according to Israeli security officials, the Islamic Jihad has lobbied Hamas to pursue a more aggressive approach against Israel. It has also claimed responsibility for most of the rocket fire emanating from the Palestinian enclave towards Israel's southern communities in recent months, a fact that has bolstered Iranian support for the internationally recognized terror organization. After meeting with the leaders of Hezbollah and the Islamic Jihad, Minister Zarif held meetings with members of the newly established Lebanese government, in which Iranian-backed politicians have made significant power gains. The growth of Tehran's influence in Beirut has motivated Iran to increase its cooperation with the Lebanese government and army, a sentiment clearly voiced by the visiting Iranian top diplomat.
ما در هر حوزه‌ای که دولت و ارتش لبنان علاقه‌مند به همکاری ما باشه ما آمادگی داریم چنین همکاری رو بررسی کنیم و در صورت امکانمون چنین همکاری رو ارائه بدیم.
Now to neighboring Syria, where Damascus has accused Israel of launching an attack on its national soil last night, causing significant damage to the town of Quneitra, which is located near the Israeli-Syrian border. According to Syrian officials, IDF tanks, in addition to an unmanned aerial vehicle, fired at a deserted hospital and nearby observation post. While a Syrian military source claimed that the damage was limited to materials, the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said that the attack was directed at areas in which Hezbollah and Iranian-backed militias are active. The observatory further stated that 4 militiamen were injured. However, TV7 was unable to confirm the report. Meanwhile, the IDF spokesperson's unit refused to comment on TV7's request for a response, underscoring that it does not discuss foreign reports regarding its military operations. That said, an intelligence source told TV7 that Israel is closely monitoring the situation in its northern neighbors and that the targeting of Iranian proxies that operate in close proximity to the Jewish state is in line with Jerusalem's declared red lines. Now to Iraq, where acting U.S. Secretary of Defense Patrick Shanahan arrived in Baghdad this morning for an unannounced trip that he said would emphasize the importance of Iraqi sovereignty and broach the issue of the future of U.S. troops in the country. Secretary Shanahan told reporters accompanying him that his trip came at the invitation of the Iraqi government with the aim of hearing firsthand about concerns and the political dynamics that they are facing, which will be taken into account in Washington's future planning. The American Defense Secretary further underscored that the Trump administration's interests are to build Iraq's security capability, which will provide Baghdad with the capacity to fend off threats from radical Islamic groups and foreign intervention, including from its malign neighbor, the Islamic Republic of Iran. Among others, Secretary Shanahan is also expected to discuss with Iraqi officials the expected U.S. military withdrawal from its war-torn neighbor, Syria. Thank you for joining us. You can also watch us at TV7israelnews.com or at TV7.fi. For any updates from Israel and its region, visit our Facebook page or YouTube channel at TV7 Israel News. For any comments, please send your emails to israelnews@tv7.fi. Keep praying for the peace of Israel and the peace of Jerusalem. I'm Yair Pinto. Have a good evening, and we will see you again tomorrow at the same time.